Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. Let's do the whole darn weekend. Saturday, Independence Day in the US of A. It is the 4th of July. National Barbecue Spare Ribs Day as well. National Caesar Salad Day. A lot of people think it's named for Julius Caesar. It's not. It's a different Caesar altogether. The guy that invented the salad.
I love Caesar salad.
I do too, by the way. And Hop a Park Day as well. Sunday, the 5th day of July, National Apple Turnover Day. So if you have any apples, just go turn those over. And then you're set.
There you go.
Oh, that's not what that is. Oh, it's National Graham Cracker Day, National Hawaii Day, National Workaholics Day. Maybe take this one off. And then it's National Bikini Day. So there you go. I've got a guest joining us this weekend as well. I have Christian Book Award winner Tilly Dillehay going to talk about her new book. It's called Broken Bread, How to Stop Using Food and Fear to Fill Spiritual Hunger. Encouraging readers to focus less on food and more on the people around their table, and even during tumultuous times. So I'm actually excited to chat with her. It's going to be a great interview coming up in just a bit. Many people have dabbled in the stock market for their very first time ever this year. If you're new to the market, but you don't want to learn things the hard way and the expensive way, I encourage you to subscribe to this free newsletter. You can get the inside track with Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com. Subscribe for free. If you change your mind, just unsubscribe. Sign up for free right now at marketbeatminute.com. That's marketbeatminute.com. Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. A survey by AAA, that's AAA, it's 3 A's in a row. They're predicting a lot fewer Americans taking road trips this weekend. About 3% less than a normal year. So fewer road trips, so a lot of folks staying closer to home. So if that includes you, thank you so much for making us a part of your weekend. We appreciate it a bunch. Thank you for listening to Surveys and Studies and Such, brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com.
Some credit cards have really high rates or big annual fees. Usually, people sign up for these when it's all they qualify for. If that sounds like you, it may be time to get a better credit card. Over time, your situation changes, and you may qualify for a better credit card. Your current card hopes you don't think about it, but our site shows you many options to see if there's a better credit card for you. Check it out for free at BetterCreditCards.com. That's BetterCreditCards.com.
This is your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by TimeForRehab.com. A group of concerned residents in the Yaletown area called the police. They said there was a man that was exposing himself and jumping up and down on a woman's car in the middle of an intersection.
Oh, my.
It says here he was, a couple videos of the incident show a distressed man with his pants down past his waist, jumping on the hood of a vehicle. He also ran down the street and appeared to be swinging a piece of clothing over his head, tossed a business's sign over his head. One of the people with the video say, the poor woman in the car, she'll never forget this.
I'm sure
The police say the man was reportedly high on drugs.
Yeah, you think so?
Had to be taken into custody by the police under the Mental Health Act. So I have a link to the story if you want to read all about it. But if this sounds like something you would do, I also have a link in our show notes to TimeForRehab.com, which that is why we do these stories, because if there are people who do need help, I would love to help them find that help. And this is a sad story that this dude was doing this for everybody involved, really. So hope he gets the help he needs. That's what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. MSNBC has named weekend morning host Joy Reid as the new anchor of the 7 p.m. time slot that's been vacant for a while now, ever since they fired Chris Matthews. So remember when they let Chris go? And then that's been...
I honestly can say I don't pay any attention to any of this sort of thing.
I don't know what's on that time slot now, but the show with Joy is not going to actually launch until sometime in August. Okay. So it's a little ways out. So they're getting things ready. So I have no clue what they have on that time slot now. But if you watch that channel, you know, you can let me know. And Emily Ratajkowski, I just love her name. She's an actress, posted a series of bikini photos to celebrate her first day as a blonde. I was considering doing the same thing, but then I remembered that nobody would want to see that, so I didn't. Big Screen, Little Screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com.
We're here to make it better.
If you find that drug or alcohol problems are hitting you too close to home, you can get help. Maybe it's time for rehab. Your insurance may even cover everything. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. Get help for a drug or alcohol problem within 24 hours.
We're here to make it better.
Get more information at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Now your scoop of the day. It comes your way, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. This was almost part of my Big Screen, Little Screen, but then I realized that a lot of these people are not actors. They're famous for other things. So a group of hackers claim to have dirt on a bunch of famous people. So LeBron James, Mariah Carey, Nicki Minaj, and they say we're selling it for $600,000 on the dark web. So here's one of the things I got to say. First of all, I think most people who are on the dark web probably don't have $600,000. Maybe they do.
And
I have
who's
no
going to
idea.
pay for? Who cares? Who's going to pay for that?
Well,
you don't even know what it is.
I think what they're thinking is that, you know, you would buy this and then you could like extort these famous people. So my question is, if that's the plan,
it's no big deal. I mean, I don't even know what you're buying.
And if it is a big deal, then why would this person say I'm going to sell it for less than you could get? It doesn't make any sense. The whole story just seems so bizarre. Really bizarre. And we'll move on. We've got former Van Halen singer Sammy Hagar. I actually like Sammy Hagar. He told Rolling Stone that he'd rather get sick and die than quit playing concerts because of coronavirus. Now, we actually saw him less than a year ago.
We did.
The Red Rocker.
But
he was
still
at.
puts on an awesome
He did.
show.
He put on a great show at an event that we go to every year called 80s in the Sand. This year they're calling the event just The Sands, so they don't put the title 80s in there anymore because they're going to have bands from other eras too. But it was really cool to see Sammy Hagar, and I would be really sad if he got sick and died. I wouldn't want to see that. But there are some people online being really mean about his comment.
Good Lord.
So, I don't know. I think everybody needs to just take a deep breath and calm down a little bit. A video of a Delaware man who caught an 8-foot shark with his bare hands has gone viral. And the most interesting thing is witnesses say the man was drunk as a skunk at the time.
Wow.
So he reached in the water.
You'd have to be.
Reached in the water and yanked out a 8-foot shark, and they're like, yeah, it was amazing you could do that. He was pretty tipsy. Video of a New York man who remains shockingly calm, despite the fact he had a massive kitchen knife sticking out of his head. That video has gone viral. My. Police did not release the name of the 36-year-old man. So, wowzers. That is quite interesting. Cardi B. We know some folks that are big fans of Cardi B. We have a friend that also says, what does he say about Cardi B?
He says she writes music for people who shoplift at garage sales.
Yeah, I think that's really funny. That he said that. Anyway, Cardi B has a jumpsuit that famously split during her performance at Bonnaroo. It's going up on auction. So if you want a ripped up jumpsuit that was worn by Cardi B, you can buy it on an auction. You think you'll get it half off since it's like ripped up? Probably not.
No.
And one last thing. This is kind of sad to hear. America is expected to be left off the safe list of countries that can come and go to the European Union. You're saying, no, America's not on the safe list. So that's kind of concerning. That's not good. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show this weekend.
Do you pay too much for insurance? Have you looked around? Or are you too chicken? Don't be afraid to look around to see if you can find a better deal at InsuranceChicken.com. We make it super simple for you to see rates from several different companies, to see what they have to offer, all in one place. Peck out great insurance deals at InsuranceChicken.com. Is it time for you to cross the road? See if we can save you money each month at InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Our guest today is Tilly Dillehay. She's the author of a book that came out a while back called Seeing Green. Well, now she has a new book out, and it's called Broken Bread, How to Stop Using Food and Fear to Fill Spiritual Hunger. Tilly, give us a little background of where this new book is coming from.
Yeah, well, food has always kind of loomed large in my life. I was one of these people who was dieting when I was like 13 or 14, and I was actually actively bulimic for a few years as a young adult. So it's always been kind of a struggle area. And then over the past 10 years or so, I'm a pastor's wife. I'm a mom of 3 kids. Food continues to loom large, but in a different way. It's a big part of our community life here. It's a big part of, I've experienced the power of hospitality and food, both on the giving and the receiving end. Our church does a potluck every Sunday. People are always being brought meals, and we live in the country, so a lot of the time when we get together with other families, people tend to do it in their homes because there aren't a lot of restaurants around here. So anyway, it just seems like food has kind of shifted into a way that I feel love from other people, and I experience food as a great gift from God now. Instead of a thing to be enjoyed privately or to be punished over in private, it's now something that I tend to feel as a right and a good experience of pleasure and an experience of community.
So in here you talk about the 4 food categories and how to identify them. Can you share a little more about that?
Yeah, so I started thinking in the last few years, I was watching some other Christian women and myself and just seeing some ways that we tend to sort of get off center when it comes to food, and I identified 2 sets of 2 twin vices. You could think of them as opposite ends of the spectrum from each other. So the first one is asceticism, that fear of pleasure, love of rules, that idea that God is stingier than we are, that if something is pleasurable, then it's probably bad or dangerous. And, we all have this idea, I think, that there's something we can eat that is so pure it won't defile us at all. And Jesus spoke very clearly about this when he said that there's nothing actually that we can eat that will defile us. It's only what comes out of our mouth that can defile us. And then, on the other end from that, you have just straight up gluttony, that desire to repeat pleasure again and again and again, long past the point when it's even pleasurable anymore. I think in my own life, one of the huge helpful things was just the realization that you could sit down to a meal and give it your full attention and accept it as a gift from God, that eating with more attention, not less attention, was helpful to me. So it seems a little counterintuitive to say that the best help for overeating is to eat. But for me, it was to sit and eat with thanksgiving and to the glory of God. And then to the other 2 sets of twins are snobbery and apathy. So snobbery being just those kind of silly social sins. When you start to see food as a social marker or a way of being a little bit superior to other people, maybe because you found the one true diet or because you have discovered that new ingredient that no one else knows about yet, or ways that we allow food to divide us rather than to unite us and to encourage love and community. And the epistles had so much to say about that. And, of course, they were dealing with very different divisions between, Jews and Gentiles, and they were dealing with issues of food that had been offered to idols, and yet Paul especially has so much to say about preferring other people when you eat together and allowing food to knit you together rather than to separate you. So then on the other end from snobbery, if snobbery is caring too much about the food or the ingredients, then apathy would be caring too little and not being able to see the amazing array of smells and flavors that God has made available to us in this time and place. I mean, we can walk into a grocery store and experience things that have come from across the world, and that's really amazing. So I just, apathy would look at a home-cooked meal and say, well, there's really nothing better about this than McDonald's or than a frozen meal, and kind of sniffs at it. And I guess I think there's a point when you're actually culpable for not appreciating what God has made available to you.
Again, the book is called Broken Bread, How to Stop Using Food and Fear to Fill Spiritual Hunger. Our guest today has been the author of that book, Tilly Dillehay. Tilly, thank you again for your time today.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
I have a link to the book in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Many people have dabbled in the stock market for their very first time ever this year. If you're new to the market, but you don't want to learn things the hard way and the expensive way, I encourage you to subscribe to this free newsletter. You can get the inside track with Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com. Subscribe for free. If you change your mind, just unsubscribe. Sign up for free right now at marketbeatminute.com. That's marketbeatminute.com. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The Queen celebrates 2 birthdays every year. Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, was born on April the 21st, 1926. So she celebrates, of course, on her birthday every year. But the head of the British royal family also observes a second official birthday celebration called the Trooping of the Colour. King George II started this tradition in 1748 because of his own birthday. It was in November. It was too cold for an annual parade, so he decided to hold an annual ceremony during warmer weather. So that became the official royalty birthday day.
Okay.
And then they also have like their regular day too.
Okay.
But his was in cold weather. I have a November birthday. Dude, I get it. I can relate. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show this weekend.
Some credit cards have really high rates or big annual fees. Usually, people sign up for these when it's all they qualify for. If that sounds like you, it may be time to get a better credit card. Over time, your situation changes, and you may qualify for a better credit card. Your current card hopes you don't think about it, but our site shows you many options to see if there's a better credit card for you. Check it out for free at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Time now for a news headline from somewhere in this world. Dateline Canada. A Canadian man was busted trying to bring 400 pounds of marijuana across the U.S. border. How would you smuggle 400 pounds of marijuana? In a garbage truck. I mean, who would think to look in there and see what's all this garbage?
Yeah, okay.
Except for they're like, hey, why are you driving a garbage truck across the border?
Right. Right.
We don't typically import and export,
Kind of a red flag.
garbage. So, yeah, crazy. 400 pounds of marijuana. And he got himself in a little bit of trouble for that. When I say a little bit of trouble, I mean
A lot of trouble.
a whole lot of trouble. This is a news headline from somewhere in this world.
We're here to make it better.
If you find that drug or alcohol problems are hitting you too close to home, you can get help. Maybe it's time for rehab. Your insurance may even cover everything. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. Get help for a drug or alcohol problem within 24 hours.
We're here to make it better.
Get more information at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Now, some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. I don't understand this thinking. And I know that there are going to be people on each side of this argument who can certainly relate to this side or that side, but I think this went way too far. An Oregon man was briefly jailed for contempt after he refused to wear a mask and walked out of a courtroom where he was scheduled to be in court on a harassment charge and a traffic violation. John Kulberth was anxious to get his court appearance completed last Wednesday. He got there a little early, Sweet Home, Oregon, an hour earlier than his scheduled appearance. Court clerk advised him to put on a face mask. He said, I'm not doing that. I'm going to stand in the back of the courtroom. And he did, with his 6-year-old daughter, far away from everyone else. The judge... He told the judge that he would leave, and he took his daughter's hand and walked to the parking lot. That's when he was arrested. And it was not for refusing to wear a mask, but because he left the courtroom without his case being completed. So the whole thing got confusing. But I'm saying, dude, you're in court already. You think you're going to have any goodwill by making everybody mad? I mean, even if you don't want to wear a mask, put one on for a few minutes. That's not a hard thing to do. And I understand both sides of the argument. People going, I have the right, I have the free. You do, but boy, just be decent to each other on both sides. It'd make it a whole lot easier. That's why it's today's Weird News.
John and Heidi.
Time now for your moment of duh, brought to you by InsuranceChicken.com. UK police say a brand new Lamborghini was totaled in a crash 20 minutes after being taken out of the showroom. Oh boy.
My.
West Yorkshire police tweeted the unlucky driver behind the wheel of a black Lamborghini Huracan Spider, reportedly $265,000 car, stopped due to a mechanical failure. It says here it was struck from behind by an innocent motorist. The driver of the second vehicle, a van, suffered head injuries in the crash, was not seriously injured. Part of the highway had to be shut down to clear out parts of Lamborghini and van. Driver behind the wheel of the $250,000 sports car had not been immediately identified. So, wow. Can you imagine?
He just drove away with it. He probably didn't even have insurance on it yet or
I don't
anything.
know. I'm not sure how that's going to end, but probably
Yikes.
not. Probably not great. This is today's Moment of Duh, brought to you by InsuranceChicken.com.
Do you pay too much for insurance? Have you looked around? Or are you too chicken? Don't be afraid to look around to see if you can find a better deal at InsuranceChicken.com. We make it super simple for you to see rates from several different companies, to see what they have to offer, all in one place. Peck out great insurance deals at InsuranceChicken.com. Is it time for you to cross the road? See if we can save you money each month at InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Time now for Fake News or Florida. At this portion of the program, I read a little story, and my beautiful bride Heidi has to tell me, is this a true story from the great state of Florida, or is it fake news made up to trick her and amuse me? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Tell me, fake news or Florida? Police in Tampa busted a Boy Scout leader for smuggling an illegal shark home from a camping trip. What do you think?
I'm going to say fake news.
It is fake news. Good job, Heidi. You're really good at this.
I just got one wrong the other day.
Well, you did, but you know what? My running tally says 98.9%. Then again, I just made that tally up.
Yeah,
so
you did.
I don't know what the number is, but it is. You're right most of the time. You get it a lot. How about you, playing along at home? How do you fare? Do you do well? If you listen every day at this time, keep track of how many times you are right. Do you beat Heidi? Are you better than her? Are you not as good? Let me know. And if you'd like to submit a story to see if you can stump Heidi, you can do that at the bottom of the page at johnandheidishow.com.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. It comes your way, by the way, courtesy of bettercreditcards.com. And I am just not quite ready. I just clicked on my good news story, and I clicked the little X in the top right, and I lost it all. But I got it back. Here's a headline. Michigan man wins a $4 million lottery prize the second time now. So back in 2017, Mark Clark won $4 million from the Michigan lottery. He still has the big fake check and everything. And now, here we are, 2020. He won a $4 million payout once again.
Wouldn't that be amazing? How come nothing cool like that? Well, of course, we don't play the lottery.
Well, that's probably why right there. So the first one he won playing a thing called Lottery's Millionaire Club Instant Game. Now, just under 3 years later, he won his second prize, same exact amount, playing the $150 million payout game. So he didn't win $150 million, but he won another $4 million, which is it's okay. It's, it's not bad.
I can get by on that.
It says you don't think you'll win millions once, and you definitely don't think you're going to do it twice. It's hard to put into words exactly what I'm feeling.
That's crazy. Good
Clark
for
says
him.
he scratched the ticket off in the store with a coin that his father gave him about 10 years ago. So I would like to see
hang on to that coin.
Yeah, I would like to see how much he would sell that coin for on eBay or something.
Right.
Actually, he should do that because he'd probably get way more than he'd ever get from another ticket.
That's awesome.
It says we lost him about a year ago after some health struggles. Oh, that's too bad. And he says I can't help but think that maybe that lucky coin helped me win this. So I guarantee he ain't getting rid of that coin if his dad's gone. So there's more information on this if you'd like to read it in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We appreciate it a bunch.